Good evening and welcome back to another edition of the Celebrity Creator Show. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming on to watch us live tonight. And if you're watching us in the recorded version afterward, thank you as well for spending the time with us because we know you could be somewhere else and you chose to be with us tonight. We are in deep gratitude for doing that. We have a stellar show lined up for tonight. I am very excited, very pumped. We have a very special guest coming on who we will introduce in just a moment. But before we do that, as we always do on this show, I'm first going to introduce my co-host of this show and the co-creator of this entire business model, Kathy Stover. Kathy has got just an absolute laundry list of experience dating back, well, I won't go that far, a long time. She's got a lot of experience. We'll put it that way. We'll do it really nice. But she's been an operations manager and sales manager for over 25 years with the Fortune 500 company. And I always say this, and it may get mundane to those who watch the show all the time, but that's impressive. And that's impressive enough for anyone to say, hey, would you like to be my business partner? But the list goes on and on. She has network marketing experience dating back to the mid 80s. So there's the word marketing in there. Affiliate marketing since the early 90s, and I always affectionately call her the affiliate marketing queen because she can sell nearly anything to nearly anyone. She's phenomenally talented in that area as well as others. She's a budding author and speaker. Also a very highly successful social media coach. And you, I'm sure, if you're in any type of online business right now, have heard about a gamut of online social media coaches out there. I can tell you from personal experience, Kathy is the real deal, a true expert, and she does get the job done and has past clients who would vouch for that. So if you need any help in that area, be sure to contact us through our contact link on our webpage. She is also a power seller on eBay. That's a big designation for those of you that aren't familiar with that. Power seller is she sold a lot of goods on eBay, and we're talking a large volume. And she got a certificate in the mail giving her that designation, and it's right up on her wall in her office right there. She's also, which is even more impressive, a top-rated seller on eBay, which means that those that she has done business with or sold to on eBay all have rated her very high. Each customer can rate their seller and vice versa. That means her customer support and her timeliness on reaction, her timeliness on shipping, her handling of funds, everything, they love her, as do I, of course. But with that, I would like to introduce everyone to my very, very good friend, Kathy Stover. How are you doing, Kathy?
I am doing absolutely wonderful. And as always, you are way over the top with all this stuff. But thank you very, very, very much from the bottom of my heart. Brian, I am so excited about our guest tonight as well. Mm-hmm. But before we get to all the juicy good stuff that I know that you're just frothing over, I would like to tell everybody about my good friend, Brian Kelly. Brian is a man of character and integrity, and that's from the word go. One thing I want to share with you, for those of you who may not know, Brian has been a software engineer for over 24 years. Now, it's something that he's going to be continuing to do for a bit, but not a big bit, but part of all of that wonderful knowledge that he has been put to great use for us, because what you see with the show, the new website, and by the way, if you haven't taken a look, please take a look at the new things that we have there. Brian has assembled all of those beautiful things, and it looks beautiful to the eyes. It's all the back end stuff that Brian and our guests, can talk about that makes my head spin. But in addition to that, Brian co-owned, a travel-based MLM for 6.5 years, was very successful in that. He also is working on a book right now. Speaking, is very adept at social media marketing and affiliate marketing in particular. He has some very successful programs that he's put together and some product launches that he has worked on with some other individuals as well very successfully. The other thing that I want to tell you about Brian is that he is in the process of working on some other programs that we're going to be debuting on our show. Can't wait for January, because we're going to have a stellar show to start the first of the year. So lots of great things that I want to tell you about Brian. Some of it got to keep under wraps until we put some shout outs there for January. But I'm going to turn it back over to you, Brian. Thank you so much for spending another glorious Tuesday evening with me and our upcoming special guest.
Yeah, and it couldn't be any more special. And thank you also from my heart, Kathy. That was glowing, and you said more than you should have once again, but I appreciate it. So, we spent so much time on ourselves. That's it. Good night. No, I'm just kidding.
I know.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a fantastic guest coming on in just a moment. Our guest, as you can see on the website, celebritycreators.com. If you're not there, move on over to that website instead of watching it from the alternate site. But our guest tonight is none other than Mr. Kyle Graham. And many of you may not have heard of this gentleman, but I'm sure some of you have, because he has been very, very busy in the past in internet marketing. His name went through on a lot of emails that many of us online marketers had seen. Kyle is a full-time social media marketer and internet entrepreneur. He's probably best known for he had a Twitter wedding. In other words, he had a wedding, and the whole thing was cataloged in real time on Twitter. And this was back not too long ago, but back when Twitter was a lot more prominent, and it was very, very popular as well. And now, as we all know, Facebook is kind of taking over a little bit in that area. Twitter's still very good, but he's known for for having the Twitter wedding, which I find very cool. He's also a veteran website developer who has either created or co-created, mostly created though, such great sites, and many of these I directly utilized, and so did Kathy. Viral Tweets, TwitClicks, Ambit Update, JV Genie, which we'll be talking about, Text My Stats, Auto Teleseminar, and one of his latest is KyleGraham.tv. That's one of his latest endeavors, where he shows in plain English super easy ways to take your company to the next level online using social media. And I just want to say a personal word, and Kathy, we've both talked about this before, but Kyle is a gentleman who we've known now for several months, it may be close to a year now, who struck us both immediately and has never wavered from the point of being a high integrity individual. And we just love this young man to death. I love him in addition to that because we can talk geek together and understand each other because of the software background. But above and more important than that, his integrity, he just oozes with it. He's not a hype-based individual, and he turns out incredibly high product websites. I've seen his code. I've actually looked at his code. I've got 25 plus years of software engineering under my belt, and I'm here to tell you the gentleman writes clean, excellent code, and I've actually told him that. But with that, I would like to bring on our special guest. Everyone, I would like you to meet Mr. Kyle Graham. How are you doing, Kyle?
I'm good.
Hi,
good.
Kyle.
I'm happy to be here.
Right on. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell everybody before we get started, the three of us were on last night kind of doing some testing and just talking about the show for tonight. And, some of you will resonate with this, but I felt like I was visiting Geekville, I mean, these guys were just going at it. It was actually very pleasurable to watch these two guys in their element and just going back and forth. And so it was great. I really enjoyed it. But they did agree that if they kind of get geeked out on us tonight, I can rein them back in and say, okay, let's stop the geek. So, so we make sure that you and people like me know what they're talking about.
Yeah, we'll keep it simple tonight.
But wherever it goes, that's cool. But one of the things when we were talking last night that just both Brian and I, we were like, oh my gosh, and it's actually part of the title, and that is that you had mentioned that you had two sites grow to 100,000 or to 100,000 in 90 days. Last night at Florida, and we didn't ask you a whole lot about it because we wanted to be excited and hear with everybody else how the heck you got to that.
Well, it's actually interesting. It's two sites, so they didn't grow. Both of them weren't 100,000, but combined, it was approximately 100,000 a month. And it went on for a few months, and it had its highs and lows. But I think probably the most important aspect of it is kind of the evolution of what it took to do that, and some of the challenges that happened along the way in terms of it's being great to have all that traffic, but then it's a whole nother ballgame to actually monetize that traffic and then actually manage all that traffic in terms of like servers and expenses and all that stuff. But I think the most interesting thing is like how to grow any site from that. So basically, I mainly employed 2 different traffic strategies to do it, but I actually should have done about 5 of them. And so just kind of in a nutshell, we made heavy use of viral marketing, joint venture marketing, social media marketing. Well, those are the 2 things that we did, but we actually should have done social media marketing more and SEO and paid traffic. So it could have been a lot better, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but it's very impressive, Kyle, that you got to 100,000 visitors per month, and whether it's one website or 2 websites, any of us would take 50,000 a month in within 90 days.
Yeah.
Or if it took, if you got 50,000 in 90 days, either way, I don't know anybody out there who would say, I don't want to do that. I don't want to know how to do that. That's impressive. And traffic is a huge buzzword. Anyone on the internet doing online marketing of any kind, trying to grow a business, that is always the number one question. How do I get more traffic? And it's not just traffic, it's targeted traffic. And we'll get into this in a little bit more detail as we go on with you. But I wanted to ask you something that I know I've been through, Kathy's been through, and I'm sure you have been, but I wanted to find out for sure, how much of your progress during that 90 days was actual trial and error based. I mean, did you do a lot of trial and error, twisting, tweaking, testing, and that kind of thing?
This is probably one of the times where I didn't do that much. We kind of stumbled on some viral strategies that worked very well. We employed Twitter effectively, and as a result, it kind of happened. So it was actually not terribly difficult, and hopefully by the end of the conversation today, everyone can see that it's not that hard to get a lot of traffic. What was I going to say? So in terms of trial and error, there wasn't a lot of that. However, if I actually had done some things right, I could have grown it through trial and error. So that means determining why we got traffic today and seeing the actual elements of what contributed to that traffic and then tweaking it to try to improve that. I actually did none of that. We just had some viral ideas that we tried, and it just happened to work pretty much on the first try.
Well, so you had mentioned, a couple of questions back, or a question back, that there were 5 strategies that you used. Mm-hmm. So if you don't mind kind of sharing them with us and touch briefly with each one of the 5 that you utilized to make this happen.
Sure. Well, real quick, they were viral marketing, joint venture marketing. Those are the 2 strategies that we use probably effectively, and then very little of the others. But hopefully I can show how you can just choose one, and then that one can automatically generate the rest. But the 5 are viral marketing, joint venture marketing, social media, SEO, and paid traffic. So we can just take them one by one. I can tell you a little bit about viral marketing, what we did, but probably more importantly, what specifically I'd recommend anyone do in terms of to craft an effective viral marketing strategy. So I guess I'll just go ahead. Viral marketing.
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so viral marketing. Well, I should premise all of this, man. Traffic is something that people complicate and people feel is extremely difficult, but it's really not. The challenge with traffic is that there's a lot of ways to get traffic. But I always recommend that you just pick the one that has the highest leverage and you focus on that, and then you leverage that traffic to generate others. So at the end of the day, traffic, hopefully I can explain that the traffic is not that hard to do. Now, the reason that we chose viral marketing, and viral marketing is pretty much single-handedly responsible for all that traffic. But I break viral marketing down into 4 key strategies. Number 1 is having a strong catalyst, strong catalyst combined with a strong incentive for people to propagate your viral message. Keep things extremely simple. That's number 3. And number 4, I call it completing the loop. So viral marketing is about taking one message or one concept, putting it out there and enabling people to take that concept and propagate it. And then completing the loop means they propagate the viral message to their friends, and then their friends take that message and continue spreading it. So a lot of people mess up with viral marketing by not making it a loop. And so I'll explain with an example. So one of the things we did, we had this piece of software and we wanted to make it viral on Twitter. So one of the things we had was a strong catalyst. So we created a very compelling headline that we put on Twitter, and then we had a catalyst, and that means that we had a bunch of our friends that had a lot of followers tweet that same message, okay? And that message contained a link in it to go to this site. So that was the first thing, is a catalyst means you have kind of a surge of traffic to begin with, and then we want to harness that traffic and spin it around so it kind of just goes out of control. All right, so strong catalyst, a strong Twitter statement. So we probably had 10 people, I guess, combined back then, which would have been great, which would have seemed great, but it probably combined was 20,000 followers. Now 20,000, one person has that. But anyway, so that message got out and we got some traffic, and that traffic had a strong incentive. It took them to a page that had a strong incentive that basically said, we're going to promise you this killer item, and all we ask in return is that you tweet the same message. Okay, so we had a lot of people coming to the site. That's number 1. Then number 2, we had an extremely strong incentive to tweet out the same message. Now, a lot of people say, well, why did you only choose Twitter? Why didn't you allow people to use Facebook and all these other means of propagating a message? Well, that's the third concept of viral marketing, is that you got to keep things simple. The more options, the more possibilities you give to people, the less likely they are to complete your task. So we said only Twitter. And at the time, Twitter was the biggest thing, so that was why we chose Twitter. And then 4, to complete the loop, the message that we asked them to tweet was the exact same message to have their friends come to the same site. So hopefully you can see there's a loop going on. And that's it, just those 4 key concepts. And I structured all of my viral marketing campaigns around those 4 structures. And that's pretty much the only thing that we did. And within 3 months, in fact, when we did one of them, we were able to even trend on Twitter just because of that. So very, very powerful, but very, very simple.
And I remember that very well, and I think Kathy knows which one you're talking about too. And not only did you followed all those steps, and one of those that really stuck out to me was the keep it simple step. Not only was the manner in which folks had to utilize your software made brutally simple, but also I went and looked at your code, and I know, Kathy, I'm getting a little geek, but your code was very concise, very tight, very small, and you made even the software look simple. I could figure out what you were doing, and I knew nothing about Twitter APIs and all that stuff. So you kept it simple, not only from the vantage point of folks who use it and read about it and got the market emails from you, but also from under the hood. And that I'm sure that paid off huge dividends for you guys, because that was a brilliant idea that you guys had come up with, by the way. That was incredible. And many had tried to follow suit and copy, but I know where the original came from because I saw it from you first, buddy.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool. And then the other idea was it was a URL shortener, which was interesting. That was when there was a ton of URL shorteners, and we added a little spin to it. But one of the things that made that viral was the same concepts. The incentive wasn't as strong as it could have been, but it was strong enough. But the thing that made that one viral is that the act of using the software was the act of spreading the software.
Yeah.
So think of URL shortener. You have you're kind of advertising for the URL shortener every time you use it.
Right.
And that was pretty much the only reason I decided to do the URL shortener, because you can take something and the act of using the software is the act of marketing the software. So little things like that can be done in almost any marketing campaign, and the dividends can I mean, you can get a ton of traffic that way.
Yeah. And you mentioned you had two primary marketing techniques or approaches that you utilized to get this 100,000 in 90 days. And yeah, I would be beating myself up like you are, Kyle, about you could have done better. 100,000, come on. No, give me a break.
Yeah, no kidding. Like,
But another one you
wow.
mentioned was JV marketing, or in full words, joint venture marketing. How did you use that? How did you use joint venturing? That's another common, I hear about it all the time, but how did you particularly use that?
Yeah, well, joint venture marketing is extremely powerful. I kind of look at it as kind of a cousin to viral marketing, because one of the components of viral marketing is that you have this strong surge of traffic to begin with, and then your viral campaign propagates that traffic. So joint venture marketing is great for getting that initial surge of traffic. Now, a lot of people use joint venture marketing just, oh, hey, promote my product. But if you can combine the two, that's when it can really, really get powerful. So all we did, I mean, we kept it very simple. And I have my business partner to thank for that. That's Ryan Wade. Ryan Wade is like the opposite of me. And I love him for that, because I complicate things. I'm a geek. I'm in the code and all this stuff. And he would say, we don't need all that. Just keep it extremely simple. So all we did for joint venture marketing is we just took the software and we put out on Twitter that, hey, we want some beta testers. And we specifically targeted potential joint venture partners. And we said, hey, here's this free software. Just test it out, see if it helps you. And lo and behold, we had a little beta period, and it helped us. And in terms of gratitude, they wanted to know how they could help us. So probably the number one thing to do to get joint venture partners is to give before you get. I mean, that's just key. A lot of people go out with their hand out, hey, promote my stuff, and that rarely works. But we gave value before we asked for value. And some people say, oh, I don't have anything to offer. Well, you'd be surprised. If you really, really switch your mindset to how can I be of benefit to this person? And there's so many possibilities. I mean, even being on this show is, and this, I totally am not doing it for joint venture purposes, but just being a good guy can really get you what you want. But that's all we did. We did, a little beta thing, and it came around, and they helped us promote it. There's some other strategies I can get into actually securing it, but that's pretty much all we did.
That's really cool. And you know what? You make it sound so darn easy.
It is.
But you know what?
It
I guess
really
it is.
It really is.
I
mean, go ahead.
Well, it's like what Brian said at the top of the show, and that is we have both used several pieces of the software that you put out. What's really incredible to me about you is you are like out of the box thinker, totally cutting edge, and just totally ahead of the power curve. So in all actuality, when you do put the finished product out there, it is very, very easy for even people like me who is not as familiar with some of the stuff that you guys talk about, which is the back end putting the things together. It's very, very user friendly.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'm a strong believer in foundations, and I'm anti tactics. I believe that that's when some of these things become complicated, because we want to know the latest tactic to get some traffic. And tactics are important, but because I want to study the foundation. Why does this take? Why does viral marketing work the way? So I'll study things outside of the internet. I'll study, well, I won't do this, but like I'll look to the science behind why viruses spread, to kind of glean why this stuff works. And then from that foundational understanding, your own creative powers can produce the tactics for you. And so that's all I do is I study, why these things work, the foundation, and then from that I can create a software that will produce the tactics, if that makes any sense. And that's kind of...
It does. You know what? That's brilliant. When you talk about, watching how virus spreads to kind of get the semantics, if you will, and putting something together to spread good things. That's brilliant.
Yeah. And so I'm not to go into too much detail, but if you think of a real virus like, say, the flu or the cold, it kind of has a lot of these same characteristics. Okay, so number one, a strong catalyst. like a sneeze. I'm trying to see how I break it down, but basically, you have one thing that starts the virus, and it's so easy to spread. Like I can touch the door handle, and that could, spread the virus, and that's a simple way to spread the virus. And then you complete the cycle by infecting someone else, and they infect other people, and then you have this exponential increase in the original message or the original virus. So, I mean, these things are not unique to internet marketing. They're just fundamental concepts that can be applied to internet marketing. And if you learn the fundamentals, and I went a little too deep with the viruses, but just common things. You learn the foundations, and then you have everything you need to do this stuff.
Hey.
Well, actually, you didn't go too deep, because that really it kind of drew a picture when you're talking about viral, and that, I think that was an excellent example of how that worked. But so how does SEO, search engine optimization, play in all of this? It's something that everybody talks about still, and something, Kyle, that I've heard Brian talk about different tactics and how they've changed over a period of time. So how is it that you utilize SEO in some of what you're doing here, or what you've done?
Okay, so SEO, and I'll come at this from a fundamental standpoint, because SEO is perceived as this impossible beast. There's no way to decode the Google algorithm. But I'll explain the fundamentals of how SEO works, and then from there, I think that people will find it to be very easy to crack. Now, we didn't specifically create an SEO campaign, mainly because we knew our joint venture partners would. And that's another aspect to this traffic game, is being able to leverage others to accomplish the same result, because it's impossible to do all these traffic strategies. So we knew we would have SEO experts that would do our SEO for us and all these other stuff. But I'll just kind of discuss the what makes Google tick, and it's very, very, very simple. They mainly have two criteria for determining where people show up in Google. The first one is, how do I put it? What you say on your website, and the second one is what you say off your website. And everything you can ever learn about Google, SEO, and anything are going to hang off these two categories of determination. So briefly, I'll just kind of show the two, what you can do. Now, I said on page, what you put on your site and what you do off your site. The reality is what you do on your site is a lot less significant than what you do off your site. So briefly, what you do on your site is you just talk about what you want to rank for. So essentially, you would think, when people are looking for what I'm trying to sell or attract traffic, what would they type in Google? And you just need to kind of have that information on your site. And you can get into all the details of how to manipulate it, but it's not so important. As long as you're talking about the topic, you should have the on-page characteristics taken care of. Now, the off-page characteristics, that's powerful. And so when we get into like social media and all this other type of traffic strategies, it's all on how do you manipulate the web off of your website. And so off-page strategies is also really simple. Google looks at the amount of people that are linking towards your site, and so that's quantity, and they're looking at the quality of those people that are linking to your site, and that's it. So essentially, the way we take advantage of that is if you want Google to respect your site and consequently a lot of people to come to your site, get a lot of people or a lot of websites to talk about you. And ideally, the websites that you get to talk about you want them to be of higher standards. So like ideally like the New York Times or some of these high perceived value sites, if they talk about you, Google is going to respect you more. Now, that's like the 90% of what SEO is. Now, even that can be complicated, but the simplest way to dominate SEO, it's very, very simple. You go and you say, okay, I want to rank for this site. So you look up your competitors. So you say, okay, I wanna your show is called Celebrity Creators, so I wanna rank for the term celebrity creators or something. So you type that in Google and you see who shows up, and you take the top 2 or 3 people, and then you just reverse engineer what they did to get there. So you look at how many people are pointing to their site, you know, what type of keywords and stuff are they using on their site. And there's more that you can do to reverse engineer, but all you have to do, and this is what SEO comes down to, all you have to do is be a little bit better than your competition. And then you beat them. So even though there's so many things you can do with SEO, most likely your competition isn't doing all those things. So all you have to do is what they're doing and a little bit better. And that's it. And that's SEO. I mean, even I complicate it, but it's really that simple.
Excellent. Hey, before we move on, Kathy, real quick. Oh, you just came back. It figures. We had a frozen image of you for a while, so I didn't move the camera over. Nice to have you back. Excellent. I want to take a moment to give everybody an opportunity to notice above us there is a still image of Kyle. Click right on his nose. Don't do it right now, though, because that'll move you off to another web page. But if you click right on his nose, you got to get right there, right on it. That will take you to his Facebook page, and be sure to connect with him there, become friends with him. As you can see, very personable individual, high integrity. And Kathy, you're frozen again with your finger straight up in the air, so if you can do that video cycle thing we talked about. That's...
Oh, so it's like, no, I'm just saying Kyle is number 1. That's what I'm doing.
I thought you were saying something bad about me with your gesture, with your finger.
Heavens, no.
All right. She's coming back. But definitely click on Kyle's nose after the show. Welcome back again, Kathy. So nice to see you so animated once again. And also, though, beneath us, there's kylegraham.tv, a little banner beneath us. Be sure to click on that and go to his main website. He has an opt-in form there that will pop up. You can tell he's a man of integrity. He's not going to take any of your information and use you to spam or sell your information to anybody. We've known him long enough now to know, I mean, just the first day I knew that he wouldn't do something like that. So full trust in this gentleman. And later, we're going to also display on the screen here a special URL that Kyle has put together for those of you who are watching our show, and he'll explain why when we get to that point. But just wanted to point that out. Be sure to become friends with Kyle and also opt into his website at kylegraham.tv. Moving on, though, we've talked about the 2 things that you did do and wanted to do 3 more, which one of those was SEO, and you've covered that. And for those, I don't recall if we mentioned SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization, for those who may not be familiar with that term. And I apologize if that was already explained. I did not catch that. I was worried about Kathy's stoic nature there for so long. But I want to move on to the next.
That's me.
Yeah. I wanted to move on to the next item that we were looking into discussing with you, Kyle. Another one that you said you wished you would have also concentrated on during that, lowly 100,000 visitors per 90 days thing that was going on. How would you have used social media, or perhaps how are you using it now? But back then, how would you have used social media to actually take that 100,000 and really give it a boost? And specifically, how important is video in that overall process? So I guess it's a 2-pronged question. How would you have used social media? Would video be one aspect? How important is it? And are there other ways you would use it as well?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, the reason I'm not really kicking myself. I'm totally excited about what happened. And at the end of the day, these hold on, something happened.
You're frozen now, Kyle.
Am I?
Yes.
Am I still frozen?
Yeah, just hit the video thing.
Just take a turn.
Yep. Your turn.
Okay, so
I want to turn. There we go. He's coming back. We can hear you.
We can still hear you.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So, what was the question?
Social media.
Oh, how do we use social media?
Yeah.
Video.
Yeah, well, the reason I'm totally excited about the results we got, but I know that if we employed social media better, we could have really ratcheted up that number, because the whole viral marketing construct kind of is predicated on what you do in the first step. The amount of people that you get in that initial burst determines how it exponentially increases, right? So social media is like where you can get a ton of traffic. And so we would have taken all the social media traffic that we could have gotten through video and stuff like that and funneled them through that viral loop. And then that thing could have spun out of control. And that's how a lot of these huge companies, that's how Twitter was built, Facebook was built. They have 500 million people because they have this social media viral loop that is just insane. And then they empower their users to just be viral all the way through. So it can be nuts. But hey, can't do it all. But
Right.
but in terms of social media, so the reason I wanted to talk about SEO first, because social media can really drive SEO. Because one of the things we talked about with SEO was what you do off the site. Well, the beautiful thing about social media is that you're controlling all of these off-site properties, Twitter, Facebook, and then there's just a ton of different areas you can go and put content on. Content meaning articles, videos, tweets, wherever you can put content out on the net, that's another item that can give Google a vote back to your content. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So using some key software tools, you can basically take a video and you can use a tool like TubeMogul, right? And I can take that video, put it in TubeMogul, press a few buttons, and boom, I'm on over 100 different video sharing sites. Well, those 100 video sharing sites all are linking back to my site. So I get a few benefits. I get the social media benefit of the fact that there's 100 sites pointing into me, but I also get the added benefit of the people that actually go to those video sites. And all it took was shooting one video and popping it in to like a TubeMogul. Well, all right, so you got this crazy thing with one video that can get you a lot of traffic. Well, imagine if you scale that out by 50 different videos or 100 videos. That's when things get insane. So I would recommend, if you're looking to get some traffic right now and you want to get it fast, I would kind of make a list of the top questions surrounding your product that you're selling and make like a short 60-second video. You don't even have to get on camera. I'm sorry, hang on. Something happened.
You're still going good?
I'm going good? Okay, something happened, but I'm back. Yeah, so I just make some questions about the product you're trying to sell and shoot a video like 60 to 90 seconds of each of those questions. You don't even have to get live on camera. Just vap it out real quick, PowerPoint with Camtasia or ScreenFlow to record the PowerPoint with you talking over it. Shoot that over in a TubeMogul and then title the videos something compelling, but carry some of the keywords that you want to rank for on Google. That might take you a day, maybe two at most, and that will get you on Google ranking for those videos, but you'll also rank for the site that those videos are pointing into. So what often happens is with SEO, people think, oh, it's all about getting number one. With social media traffic strategies, you can be number one, number two, number three, number four, and there's been situations where we've dominated pages of Google just through video marketing. So that's how I do the video side. Now, the same concept, and this is where it goes back to knowing the fundamentals. A lot of people say, oh, I'll just do video in TubeMogul and that'll be good. But if you know why that works, it's easy to see that that would work for text-based stuff too. So then you have the whole article marketing side. So I would take those same videos and transcribe it.
Yes.
Or just take your same notes and turn it into like 3 paragraphs for each one. And then there's similar software, none comes to mind right now, but there's similar software tools you can use to take the same software and blast it out similarly. So again, you get the traffic from those software sites and you get the votes on Google for your site. And man, you can get traffic explosion. And if you combine that with a viral strategy, you have that strong surge of traffic coming in, and then you have that loop so that it goes on to Kingdom Come. You won't be able to stop the traffic that comes. It's some powerful, powerful stuff. But hey, you got to do it.
That sounds like crazy traffic getting strategies there to me.
Well, then, yeah, now 100,000 visitors a month doesn't look so unachievable. It's not going to happen for everyone.
I don't know. Need to roll a little bit more, though. I mean, 100,000 is still a lot in my book. So how did you or created paid traffic?
Paid traffic. Paid traffic is a lot different than the other strategies. I like to call it, and I want you to quote me on this because not a lot of people will say this, but I would say paid traffic is the cheapest form of marketing that there is. Paid traffic is the cheapest form of traffic there is. And the reason I say that is because my damaging admission, 100,000 visitors a month means absolutely nothing if you're not monetizing it. Okay? Now, we monetized it. We did well. Could have done a lot better. I've had sites that have had less traffic that have done better. So, yeah, 100,000 is great, but it's meaningless unless it accomplishes your goal. And in that case, our goal was to make money. So what paid traffic does is it can answer all of the questions needed in order to put together a great campaign, a monetizable campaign, okay? So number one, do I have a good idea? How do you know? You might think you have a good idea, but there's no way to know if you have a good idea. So you might spend a month of grinding out, trying to get all these different free traffic strategies to your site. That's not a good idea. And case in point, that Ambit update idea, I built that, probably 8 years ago. I was in love. I'm still in love with that idea. I don't understand, but it just didn't really work. I spent.
Now let me ask you: is that the one that you walked out on?
What's that?
Is that the one where you walked out on the screen?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So a little background on that, because this is such a good lesson. Like, I don't care about the traffic unless it's going to turn into something I want it to turn into. So that's why I say, I'm like, it's 100,000, and yeah, I can pat myself on the back, but did it accomplish the goal? So take that Ambit update idea. So it was before the Web 2.0 bubble, or whatever you want to call it. And it was something that helped people with legacy sites or standard websites, the non-WordPress websites. Non-technical people like edit the site. It was great. I was very, very proud of it. But I tried for over 3 years to make money on this site. I tried to get traffic. I tried all this stuff to make money on it, and I just could not make it turn. Well, in hindsight, I made some key mistakes, and I hope that our viewers won't make the same mistakes. And the mistake was I spent all the time trying to generate traffic to an idea that was not going to work in the first place.
Yeah.
I was too attached to the idea that I didn't want to admit to myself that it was not a workable idea. Paid traffic could have told me that instantly, practically. Oftentimes. That's why I say it's the cheapest form of traffic, because I spent 3 years of my life, sweat, blood, and tears, to monetize something that wasn't going to work. Paid traffic can tell you. All right, let me get to the point. So what you can do with paid traffic, and I'll talk specifically about Google AdWords, is you can very, very quickly test out your idea. You can put up like a page that says what your idea is, and then you can control the traffic that comes to it. So I can take $20 of my pocket and get, say, 100 people to that site. And I can know within that day or a week if the numbers are going to work. Did I make more than $20 by spending $20? If I do, great. Now I can start looking at some of these other things. If I don't, I need to move on to a working idea. Had I done that more effectively, I could have saved myself 3 years of time. So cheapest form of traffic, everyone should do it. Now, if you are making more money than you're spending, well, then you'd be foolish not to continue spending. Yeah. So a lot of people are afraid of the paid traffic. But if you're making money, man, dump as much money as you can because the numbers are going to work to your favor. So now you have your free traffic, your paid traffic, and there's a ton of paid traffic options. And now you have a real business. And that's how you see these 6- and 7-figure businesses doing so well, because they do good jobs at both of them. That's paid traffic.
Excellent.
And now paid traffic is not hard to learn. You just start real simple, and you be a little bit analytical about it. You need to set up boundaries. So you say, I'm going to spend $20. And now at the end of that $20, I need to definitely ask myself, did I make more than $20 or did I lose? Right. And if you made more, well, then you would alter your campaign to see if you can make even more the next go around. That's the art of paid traffic. So that's it.
Sweet. Now, we've covered the 5 major strategies that you employ that have made you successful in the way of getting traffic. And to recap, those were viral marketing, joint venture marketing, social media marketing, search engine optimization or SEO marketing, and paid marketing. Now we've got this glorious amount of traffic coming to our website or websites, but that's just one part of the equation. Now we solved one part, and it's a big part to solve that. But once you have that solved, what happens then? Now you have all this traffic. Now what do you do with it? How do you convert that?
Well, that's really where the art is. And I would encourage anyone here that is interested in generating traffic not to waste your time until you have something that you feel is going to, or not that you feel is going to work, that you've tested that's going to work, because it takes a lot of time to do these traffic. And so I have the belief that traffic is not hard to get. It is easy to get. You do the things that I did over here, and you'll get traffic, okay? But that traffic is in vain if it's not going to accomplish the goal, and oftentimes that's making money. So I start with paid traffic. I send them to a landing page that has the express purpose of getting their email address, okay? And then once I get their email address, then I will take them to some kind of a sales pitch for the topic, okay? That accomplishes 2 things. The sale, so whatever I'm selling, the sales tries to get them off, to try to get them to buy on that one time. But in, Sales 101 says people need to be exposed multiple times, so that's great. I have their email address. So I'm going to send them very low hype emails that are designed to build a relationship with them and then request the sale. And there's many ways to do that, but if you just build a relationship with them where they know, like, and trust you, now you can send them back to the same page, the same sales pitch, and at the end of the day, hopefully your numbers, your sales exceed what you put in. If you can tip the scales where you're making more than you've spent, then you can come back and just go crazy on the traffic strategies here.
Oh, yeah.
So put it in simple numbers. If I can take 100 people and I can convert 2 of those people, I have a 2% conversion rate. And that 100 people would be paid traffic. I can spend $20, $30 and know I can get 100 people. And if you can't, then there's something wrong with your topic. So right there, I can do that relatively quickly, within a few days. Then, once I have that ratio tilted, I can turn that 100 to maybe 1,000 or 5,000 or hopefully 100,000. And if you can carry that same 2%, now you have a business. I mean, 2 people out of every 100, that's, do the math. Now you're in business. But don't do it the wrong way. And so many people do. Start with getting a good sales a good sales marketing campaign, pummel it with traffic. And in fact, a lot of these things won't work. Like joint venture marketing is not going to work if your joint ventures don't know that, or don't have confidence that it's going to actually promote. So don't put the cart before the horse.
That's awesome. Well, so we've been talking a lot about some of the software programs that you have put together either by yourself or with partners as well. And you shared with Brian and I last night that you are working on a huge project right now. So is there something that you would like to ask our viewers?
Well, part of the reason I wanted to do this is because I want to engage. I've been off. What do they call it? I've been kind of not very visible lately because I've been just working on these projects behind the scenes on a lot of these different sites. but I'm coming back out to try to engage back with people so I could know specifically what they want, so I can actually build. That's another big lesson, is that we often do things based on what we feel people would like. So, man, I have this great idea that I'm going to do, and you spend all this time doing it, but who knows if people actually want it? So my business is centered around building software that helps small businesses do better online. Very simple. So I built a software that kind of, at the very basis, can solve a lot of those problems. So what I want to know, and hopefully your viewers, maybe they type in the Ustream chat or something, what element of your business is your biggest challenge right now? So it could be, I don't know how to start. I don't know how to put up a landing page. Or I don't know how to set up an AdWords campaign, or I don't know how to construct a social media campaign. Especially like the technical stuff, that's a big bottleneck for people. So my question is, and this will help me just as much as I've hopefully helped you, what is your biggest challenge? What challenge are you facing that if you could push a big red button and have it be solved, what would that be? And hey, I might go and just build that. And that's it. I mean, if you just enter it in there, and it'll help me tremendously. And I even have some gifts that I can give you just for letting me know that the answer to that question.
Well, let me ask you this: if they're too shy to type anything, right now and answer, would that be something that you would want them to answer off show here? And if so, where could they send that information to you?
Oh, perfect. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, send me an email. No, I want to make it clear. One of the biggest reasons I did this show, in terms of my self-serving reasons, is so I can know what you want, what challenges you're facing. So send me an email. I'll talk to you, Kyle@kylegraham.tv. Tell me what your biggest challenge is. We'll engage. I'll even try to help you outside of building software for you. If you're struggling in your business about something, send me an email. We'll engage and see what comes out of it. But yeah, Kyle@kylegraham.tv.
All right, I just put that up on the screen for now. And you also mentioned something about this big program that you have in the works. You are going to allow some folks to have a little access to you and know when that product is coming up, and give them little updates on how that's coming. And I got to tell the people watching this, either live or recording, you want to go to this URL he's about to give you, because he has not even divulged he's not divulged the secrets to Kathy nor I, but he has given us enough to where, if he didn't live, he's in Florida, by the way, and we're in California. But if he was in driving distance, I'd be sitting next to him right now saying, show me what the heck this is, because
was that why you were checking on the Southwest flights to Florida today to see if they had a discount?
They got some deals right now. I could have had a surprise visit, but I couldn't make it in time for the show, so I had to bail out. But
I can't go into detail, obviously, about what it is, but I'll tell you this. It's surrounded around helping you get results faster. So it's not like some techno thing, it's basically designed to simplify a lot of this stuff to get it faster. Now, where the viewers, or where you come in, is I need to now tailor it to solve specific problems, okay? So right now it solves a bunch of different problems, and it does it well. I use it, it kind of drives the majority of my business. And even some of these things we talked about, I can use the software to help me out with. So it does a lot of this stuff, but what I need to know is what can I make it specifically solve for you? And just in exchange, because this information is so valuable to me, in exchange for going over to the site, you can put your name and email in there. And what I will do is, a lot of the stuff we've been talking about, I have a bunch of videos that I've made that go into more detail and give you more clear step-by-step plans on how you can directly put this plan in your business. So if you go and put your email in there, I'll go ahead and give that to you for free. And there was one other thing. Oh, and then when this software comes out, so you tell me what you need, you tell me what challenges you're facing. when that software is done, which will be very, very soon, I'll give early access. I'll give either a significant discount or like a big free trial or something to make it worth your while. But yeah, I really, really want to know this information because it's going to help me tremendously.
All right, and I've just put that URL up on the screen, and we'll verbalize it. It's kylegraham.tv/celebritycreators.php. Don't forget the .php. Most of you are used to seeing either a .html or something different. Celebritycreators.php. And there you'll just see a simple opt-in form. Once again, this is not a spammer. We're talking to a high-integrity individual. I'm telling you, you want to go
yes.
to that URL. I will say it again. You want to go to kylegraham.tv/celebritycreators.php. You'll want to go there because I got to tell you, when Kathy and I were talking to him, I have him again now. I literally have goosebumps on my arms because this guy has a phenomenal idea that he's cooking up. And it won't stop with just one little flare of a few little features here and there. He's going to come out with both barrels blazing. I know Kyle, and he's going to gather a lot of this information. This will be excellent feedback for him to get so he can know where to prioritize his efforts, and he can quickly and easily drop in new features as he goes along. And you're looking at a guy here that is going to be one of the next Facebook multi-billionaire type people because he's got these incredible ideas. And we want to help him to get there because he's just that kind of a guy. He's a great guy, and definitely you want to go to kylegraham.tv/celebritycreators.php. If that's no longer active, if you happen to be watching this as a recorded video in the Star Club area of our membership website, apologize, but contact Kyle directly through his email that he gave earlier and see, Kyle's a great guy. I'm sure there's something that you guys can work out. And he may be that multi-billionaire by then, and maybe he's not accessible, but at that time, I can't imagine that happening, but, the not accessible part. But anyway, definitely go to that web page and fill out your name and email and get on his list to be notified when this monster of a project is completed. I can't wait myself. You're killing me, man. I want to know what it is and what it does from every detail.
Well, main thing is don't want to overhype it, but I will just say that it's designed to solve very specific problems, and it's going to be very simple. I built a lot of complicated software before, but it's complicated. So it's going to take big challenges, and it's going to solve them very, very quickly and effortlessly. So just think of a lot of the challenges you're facing, the things that take a lot of time in your business right now, and I want to create software that will just shrink that time to next to zero. Simple as that. So.
And that's what we got out of it.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to put my information in.
I already
awesome.
did. The second that you emailed me that URL, Kyle, I was on it. I don't know if you saw it, but I opted in the second I got it. It's like, all right. What's your first message going to be? Come on, feed me, baby.
I know. You didn't even share it with me. Shame on you.
No,
but anyway, I just want to tell everybody it has come to the end of our show. It is a little bit after 7, and it always comes much faster than we intend it to pass. But it's a little after 7 right now. I just want to say, Kyle, thank you so much. It was phenomenal reconnecting with you again. We're both, as Brian said, very excited about the new program that you have coming out. Thank you for sharing all of the things that you have with us over the past year. You put out some tremendous programs that have really made a difference in some of the business things that we've been involved in. And so I just, from the bottom of my heart, want to say thank you again for joining us. I'm going to turn it back over to Brian.
And there we go. Kyle was stoic there for a moment. He's back to being animated once again. We have a lot of, he must be cold out. We're all freezing all the time. But yeah, I like to also reflect what Kathy said. Same exact thing. And Kyle, we love you, man. You're a great guy, and we want to continue this relationship on till we're all old, almost like a marriage, We're going to die, grow old together, gray, Kathy and I probably will get there before you, unfortunately, but we sincerely
quicker, I think.
we sincerely appreciate you, what you're doing. You have a golden heart, and you're out there to help folks. You're not there just to take their money. We know that from just our association with you, and we want to say a deep thank you to you, Kyle, for coming on once again to our show and sharing your vast knowledge in the internet marketing arena, because you are truly one of those unsung heroes of the trade, because you haven't been out and your name hasn't been out there, but you do know your stuff, and I know you know your stuff, and Kathy does. Thank you once again, Kyle, for coming on the show. One other thing I wanted to mention before we go, we didn't get a chance to cover it, was you talked about joint ventures. I want to go back real quick. We can't really spend any time on it, but mention that if folks go to jvgenie.com and take a look at what he's got there, but you need to contact Kyle to find out more information about it, because I don't believe it's open anymore for folks. We were gonna give him time to bring that up, but we ran out. But go check that out, jvgenie.com. It's a great tool to help you form a joint venture with someone who can help you in that one of those 5 crucial steps to gaining marketing. But sorry to cut you off on that one, Kyle, but perhaps we'll record a static video later and send it to our viewers. We'll figure something out. Anyway.
No, it's all good. I'm just want to say I'm really happy to be here. I'm happy to help. You guys have my email, so send me an email. I want to be accessible. Want to help. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I mean, I obviously got to make a living, but I want to help people. So anything you need, send me an email. Any of the software, anything you see that you might like, send me an email, and I'll help.
And
if
he
at
will.
all possible.
He will. All right. We want to respect everyone's time. We thank you once again for being on the Celebrity Creators Show, for watching with us tonight. We will be back next week with another fantastic show. Until then, good night, everybody.
Good night.